Hi everyone. The 20-year anniversary of the September 11 attacks from 2001 are approaching, and so I wanted to do this video on this occasion. So the official story is that 4 groups of Al-Qaeda terrorists who took flight lessons took control over 4 planes, I think with box cutters, and flew 2 in the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, 1 in the Pentagon, and 1 didn't reach its target, the White House or the Capitol building, and smashed into a field in Pennsylvania. All this led to the start of the war on terror, a 20-year war on Afghanistan and later Iraq, and led to the taking away of civil liberties and even reintroduced some torture methods for interrogation. Many people back then thought already that it was about advancing the military-industrial complex, that it was about taking control, and later about the oil. Also many people thought that George W. Bush was just a puppet and that the real players behind him were Donald Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, Karl Rove and Dick Cheney, and his father, George W. H. Bush Sr. So the conspiracy theory started shortly afterwards, fueled also by George W. Bush's odd behavior. And the question was 9/11 a planned event by the deep state? Here's a short clip of George W. Bush, who was at that time at an elementary school when it happened, to bring attention to his plans for education reform. Upon arriving at the Saratoga, Florida school, the president was informed of the first plane crash into One World Trade Center, so he was briefed that it was probably just a small propeller plane. While President Bush sat in the classroom and the students read The Pet Goat, the White House chief of staff interrupted the president to whisper in his ear, a second plane hit the second tower. America's under attack. However, President Bush sat there for 7 more minutes before he got up, gave a brief press conference, and then left. Okay, let's look at this short clip.
On 9/11, it is a question that will always be asked, and for every person will have a different answer, except for 16 Sarasota children. They were only 7 years old, sitting together in a classroom with President George W. Bush when he learned our nation was under attack. They are grown now, but their memories of that morning are still vivid.
What do these 2 letters say?
At only 7 years old, they were the face of second-grade innocence. Just as the news of evil was being whispered into President George W. Bush's ear on the morning of 9/11.
So here you see the narrative. He's at the school with the innocent children, and then evil strikes Twin Towers. So this narrative is super important.
Now, 10 years later,
I'm Chantal Guerrero.
I'm Natalia Jones Pinkney.
I'm LaDamian Smith.
My name is Mariah Williams, and I remember 9/11 because I was in the classroom with President Bush when it happened.
that classroom, room 301 at Emma E. Booker Elementary School in Sarasota, is where we sat down with 4 of the 16 students, now high school seniors, who were reading to the president that very morning.
We were just excited that the president was there.
Now a piece of history, this was the book of short stories they were reading.
The Pet Goat. That reminds you of the tethered goat, which is a goat restricted to a very small area, a goat which has no freedom. A tethered goat is also sometimes used as a sacrifice. Do you remember Jurassic Park when they tried to lure out the T-Rex?
When Chief of Staff Andrew Card told the president a second plane had just flown into the World Trade Center.
Oh my God. He whispered something to the president. I seen his face like turn red.
I see the face and I think, something is wrong.
That image of the president receiving the news that morning is ingrained in our memories as much as the video of the planes flying into the Twin Towers is ingrained in our memories as much as the video.
Now imagine George W. Bush would have sat in the White House or at some other meeting without any cameras around. How would that have gone down in history? So he's perfectly set up in this classroom with the cameras, innocents all around him, little kids, and then evil strikes. So imagine if that wouldn't have happened that way, how little impact this would have. We wouldn't have these news stories, which have been going around the world for 20 years. There's another red flag, just the date 9/11. Imagine it would have been any other date, like May 29th or August 17th. No, it was 9/11. And 9/11 is the emergency phone number in North America. This is ingrained in people's minds. This is about emergencies. Whenever you think 9/11, you think emergency And this is now linked to the 9/11 attacks by these terrorists.
Of the planes flying into the Twin Towers. For these kids, they remember the next 7 minutes that the president stayed in the room.
That was... So it is clear from George W. Bush's expression that he didn't know about it. And that made this little video clip so authentic. So he is biting his lips, he's moving his lips around. That's a sign of suppressed anger. He has a deer in the headlight blank look. So that's really hard to fake, especially in the surrounding. So he certainly didn't know about this event.
As frozen in time.
Everything changed about him, and you can see it all over his face.
May God bless the victims, their families, and America.
President Bush soon exited the room with barely a goodbye. He would meet with his staff in the school library. The kids would watch the news coverage on television, not fully comprehending their world was changing forever.
I didn't know what a terrorist was or, anything like that, the World Trade.
So see how effective this story is. Another red flag was that he wasn't rushed away when the US was under attack. The protocol is that he's rushed away to Air Force One. However, he was sitting there for 7 minutes producing this nice footage for the years to come. So in politics, there are no accidents. This short video clip shows immediately that all was planned and that George W. Bush didn't know about it. So it was planned by others in the administration. The date 9/11, the background of sitting in a school in front of a camera with this picture of innocence, that he was not rushed away by Secret Service, and that he showed genuine anger and confusion in front of the camera. It was a perfect story. So there were many other similar Black Swan or cataclysmic events. Pearl Harbor was another one which changed public opinion and got the US involved in the Second World War. Richard Nixon's war on cancer, which led to nothing except for trillion-dollar profits for Big Pharma, or the Great Fire of London in 1666, with a significant number, of course, 666. So I suspect none of these events were on accident. Okay, so I hope you liked this little video and you found it useful. It would be interesting to read your comments about what you think about 9/11 and the conspiracy theories which followed it. And yeah, thank you for listening, and I talk to you next time. Bye.